You know what I mean? I got distracted by the music game. I really always, I wanted to be a boxer. I just didn't have access to a gym in my community, and that's why I built the Prince Boxing Gym in my hood, because it come from a spot. I said, if I ever make it, this is something I'm gonna give back to the hood. So that always been like a love of mine, a sport of boxing. And of course I was able to land Floyd Mayweather as one of my first fighters through Mike Tyson. Went to Vegas to meet Mike Tyson, but Floyd ended up coming in the gym. And it was real interesting about that story. Before I went, I prayed for a champion. I'm a praying man, so I would always, everything I wanted to accomplish, all my goals, I always, God bless me with this. You know what I mean? I talked to him like, bless me with a champion. That's what I said to him. So even though my focus was on Mike Tyson at the time, he wasn't a champion. And even though we went to his house and, I'm thinking I'm on his team, only to find out the next day I couldn't reach him. But Floyd had gave me his number. And when I asked the homie, I said, who is this dude? He said, it's a 130-pound champion, Floyd Mayweather. So bam, red light went off in my head, because I believed in what I prayed for. And to make a long story short, he and I was in business within a week or two.
Prince, I think God a little overdid it with that. Like, Floyd is one of the best ever.
Yeah.
When did you realize that this guy was that special? When did you realize that Floyd was like super special?
Well, when I started watching him spar, you know what I mean? When I started watching him spar and interacting with him on one-on-ones and different things like that, that's when I knew he was special. And that's when I started thinking of ways to lay the foundation for him to become who he is today.
Now, Jay Prince, marketing genius. Floyd Mayweather doesn't become the villain and the bad guy until Jay Prince gets with him. Does Jay Prince say, wait up, the best way to bring the money in is to be the bad guy?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily call it the bad guy, but I encourage him to be himself. You know what I mean? Promoters had him being, like when I came to the table, he was in a suit just, being nice and not, you know what I mean, saying a whole lot. In private, I knew that wasn't him. So I come from the hip hop culture. We were really often to being ourselves, saying what we wanted to say. You know what I mean? A lot of people call it rebellious side of us. And I brought that out of him. I say, man, you got to be you. You know what I mean? We're going to move this way. We're going to mob through the crowd this way. So I brought a certain image and a certain energy to him and introduced him to the hip hop culture. You know what I mean? And then I made certain moves that really ignited the movement.
I mean, now that I'm adding one and one together, it makes sense. What do you get when you get a boxer that inside is one way and you got a guy behind him that knows what the fuck to do to put the gas on him? You now have a fight.
Exactly. You have a blaze, you know what I mean, which ultimately what took place, you know what I mean, where Floyd is concerned. And
did you ever think he was gonna be this guy? Like this guy?
No, I didn't. I never thought that. I never even thought about how big he would be, but I never thought he would lose. You know what I mean? I didn't see anybody beating him. I never could see one person in my mind beating him.